Hello, beautiful people. Vlad from Synaptic Schism here, and today we are going to work on the instruments. We created a session, we listened, we identified what we could improve, we dealt with the reverb, we dealt with the mix bus, we dealt with the percussion, and we dealt also with the woodwinds. One thing that, as I was reviewing the last video, I added this here and then switch it off, which is kind of stupid. My apologies for that. So this is to give more body to the shells, and I switched it off and didn't notice it. So what we are going to do today is address the instruments. Now, let's be honest. What I really want to address is the ARP. So I'm going to search for that ARP, and that's the first thing that I'm going to do just to get it out of my system. So here's the ARP. Did you listen to it now? Now I did, because I was looking for it. So the problem with this ARP, we could address this in two different ways. I know, do as I say, don't do as I do. I should be looking at this bus right now, but I want to deal with this ARP, okay? Just let me do it. So we could address this ARP in two ways. We could increase the volume, right? Or we can do something a little bit cooler, which is the following. We are going to add an EQ, and you heard the mantra of doing stuff with your ears and not with your eyes. We are going to definitely do something with our eyes. We are going to look at the spectrum analyzer here. Did you see that it ended here? So the run, it finishes here. It goes like this, right? So it moves in this direction until here. Right? So what we are going to do is the same that we did with the runs of the flutes, which is we increase the EQ here quite substantially. This is 5 dBs. Now, check the difference. It swells in. It's not just the pitch of the instrument, but since we have an EQ there, that it's creating this curve here, it also causes a swell, okay? If we are to switch that off, you see that it's a lot less pronounced, the role of the ARP there. Without and now with. You can really abuse this kind of stuff. This is like the creative part of doing this. That's too much, but you get the idea. So now that I dealt with the ARP, because I really wanted to, we got that out of our system. Now, the instruments, let me just open this, because the instruments pop up here and there. Let's see what they're up to. Oh yeah, this is very noticeable in the mix, right? Then the xylophone comes in. The glockenspiel. Not exactly sure what we should be doing with the glockenspiel. Sorry if you are hearing noises, my dog is going crazy here. Hey dog. So we are not going to address each specific instrument with the exception of the ARP. What we are going to do, we are just going to do the basic stuff. So we are going to put an EQ here, just to see. I doubt that there's rumble here. Because these instruments are very high pitch. There's a little bit there. So I guess we could just do our most famous pass. Just for the sake of not letting anything pile up there. I wonder if, just a check, just to be sure that we are on the safe side. The piano here, let's listen just to the piano and guarantee that we are not cutting anything from the piano that we might need. we are good to go. So we are not affecting the piano or anything else by removing that slight rumble, but we are not letting that rumble pile up. So this EQ is not doing much, just a little bit, but it's there to help. And as usual, we are going to add saturation. And we are going to add saturation. I'm a little bit worried about the ARP. Well, let's deal with the ARP later. Let's listen here where most of the work is. I don't want this to be overwhelming, so maybe I can increase here. Okay, I'll just increase the saturation and then adjust the channel volume. That way we are going to have a richer sound, but not a volume increase, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we are okay. Another thing that we could do was actually use this as a compressor. Yes, I am very happy with this. Finally, I was able to use that big button there. So since we have the problematic areas dealt with, let's listen to this and see what we feel about the current state of the project. I actually want more stuff from the brass. I want more from it, but since we haven't dealt with the channel, I leave that for future vlog. Really love the woodwinds. Well, let's check something out. How does this sound without the percussion? Really want this to... The whole track needs to make sense rhythmically without the percussion. We need help from the brass. Okay, so let's deal with the brass. First and foremost, let's try to remove that rumble if it exists. So let's remove that. Then add again. Sorry, I've been silent because I was listening to it. So the idea here is this band is just removing the rumble. This is adding a little bit more of that low brass, that body of the brass. And then this one is just to add to accentuate the stabs of the brass. I don't feel that it needs any kind of... Nah, it just loses body. Okay, and now we are going to give it, as usual, saturation. Brass is a section that really benefits from saturation. It gets grittier, it gets more punch, more attack. You need to be careful about the volume though, because since the saturation is going to somewhat compress the sound, and brass on its own, it's quite overwhelming already. You might get too much brass, so you need to add the amount of saturation that makes it more lively, but at the same time doesn't, you cannot let it overwhelm everything else unless that's exactly what you want to do. So we probably need a little bit less volume here. See how much more live it's amazing. Just a little bit of saturation. Now I'm going to try to do some transient shaping here. I don't know if this is going to work, but just for the sake of getting that humph, that pump. Yes, love it. So let's try to spot the differences. Really like it. Now, did you notice that the percussion was off the whole time? It's a thing of beauty. When you get the transients from the orchestra right, it's really a thing of beauty. Now, let's listen again with the percussion on. We can even lower the percussion a bit. Actually, I like a lower volume here. But I'm not crazy about the transitions. So for instance, in the end of this, cool. Now, I am going to automate at the end when everything is mixed. We are going into a little bit more details. This is going to be automated just to have different movements from the percussion over time. Well, since we already did the brass, let's also do the strings because it's clearly the least problematic of them all, and it should be easy to address. First move, remove the rumble. You should be tired already of this. A lot of rumble. But we don't want to lose those fundamentals from the bases, so let's do again, try to understand what was that. just noise. So what we are going to do, we are definitely going to have this, but we are going to bring up how lush the sound is here. Now we are going to try to find two more things. The first one, we are going to try to EQ a couple of dBs up the attack of the basses and the cellos. We are going to look for that attack, and we are going to give it a little bit more and see if we want to bring the strings, the highest part of the strings, a little bit up to give it a little bit more room wideness. Again, we just want the kink of the... Okay, and now finally, let's see if it makes sense to bring this shimmer a little bit. I said that this was the least problematic part, and it's the one where we did the most EQ. Now, we need more of this, don't we? Again. Let's see how this behaves with the tape saturation. Because it is possible that with the tape saturation that high shelf needs to go away because it gets too brittle. Let's try to put this on and off. I think this is not necessary. The saturation does enough. Okay, so we mixed it. Hello everyone, let me just stop Vlad from the past here. This is Vlad from the future. I was editing the video before recording the last one, and Vlad from the past just said that mixing is done. It's not, because there's an important part that it's missing in all of this. I could have left it for another video, because this one is already pretty big, but we need to address it, and we are going to address it now. So the issue that we have right now is the following. Have we listened to the track after we mixed all of the bus channels? We did not. So there might be something that needs to be done now in order to actually finish the mix. So let's listen to it one more time and try to figure out what is it that we still want to improve in the track. Okay? All right, let's give it a shot. The stuff that we did is clearly working. Everything is fine. Let's see now in the ramp up and the big part in the end. Listen to the low end and imagine what is it that you like or not. Okay, I am happy with the track, but we shaved so much of that low end that I feel that it's missing right now. So what I'm going to do is, if you recall, this is a subtractive EQ. It's to remove the stuff that we don't want to go down the chain, right? Now we are going to put another EQ, but the objective of this EQ is to raise the stuff that we want to listen more. So what we want to listen more now is the low end. So from this big climax in the end, let's see what we can do with it. Okay, one more time. Don't know if it's too much. Kind of want it more, but also more of this. So what I'm thinking is I want to add more low ends, but I don't want it to muffle too much. So I am trying to give it a little bit more reverb to see if it gains a little bit more life, and try to understand if I need to shave something off just to color it in the right way. Okay, one last time, just to be sure, just to be sure. So a good rule of thumb is when you're cutting, you want like sharper cues, but when you're increasing, you want wider ones. So I'm trying to get more of overall the low end. Okay, let's save this. Okay, now I am happy with the mix. Now we listen to the whole of it, and we did this last step, which is, let's just rename it to Additive. Is it 2Ds? I guess. Additive EQ. Just the final step here before we are happy with everything. Now we have mixed it. So I'll give it back to the Vlad from the past. See you in a bit. Now, this is the 101. This is going through the bus channels and the mix bus and getting this part done. I'm going to do one more episode about things that, even with just this basic mixing, we could improve further to bring the best parts of the mix. And then we can talk a little bit more about what is not 101 and that we didn't really discuss here. I hope you enjoyed it and that this was helpful, and until the next episode, bye bye.